Hello and welcome to another Figuring Out Japan video. We sell all the coolest Japanese collectibles and figurines straight out of Japan. And you can find more information about us in the description of this video, including our Facebook page and our eBay store. So this video, rather than actually reviewing figures, is actually going to be me talking about a question that we get a lot, which is how do you know if something is fake or something is real? And I'm going to firstly talk about how you can do that by looking at a page on the internet, and then secondly how you can do that by actually inspecting the figure physically. And in fact, one of the figures in front of you is fake, and at the end of the video I'm going to tell you which one it is, and we're going to apply the knowledge that we obtained in the video to work that out. But the reason why I'm showing both is because you don't want to actually buy the figure and then on personal inspection realize that it's fake. So it's also important to know how you know it's fake just by looking at an internet page. Now, it would have been ideal for me to actually show you actual web pages, actual sellers of fake stuff, but I decided not to do that in the end because I felt it was a little bit lowballed. Us kind of, because they're kind of our competitors, so I didn't want to do that. And I thought, there's so many people selling fake stuff, it's kind of unfair to single out a couple of particular sellers, and we're all just trying to make a living and make our way in the world anyway. So I'm not going to do that, but I will talk about it. So yeah, there are a lot of sellers out there on places like eBay that are selling fake stuff, unfortunately. And I think the first way that you can tell whether something is fake or not is the price. Now let me use an extreme example. In Japan there is a Ichiban Kuji of Luffy and Shanks from One Piece. It's a very rare figure. It sells for about, even in Japan, close to $600. I saw an eBay page selling them for about $50 and they had 10 of them in stock. Now considering that only 100 of them were ever released, the fact that they had more than 10 in stock and they were selling it for $50, you don't have to be Einstein to know there's something fishy is going on. So I know it's cliched, but usually you do get what you pay for. And one thing that kind of makes it easier is that fake figures or fake manufacturers, they will target the expensive figures. Think about this, right? Most of the figures we sell are around $50 to $60. If you could buy the actual thing for $60, or you could buy a fake for say $30, what would you do? Most people would be willing to pay the extra to get the actual thing. But if you had a fake figure that's like $300 or $400 or $600, or you could buy the fake for say $50, now you're talking about a substantial price difference. And a lot of people would go, well, it doesn't look as good, but it still looks okay. I don't want to pay, the full price for the actual thing. So, so usually fake figures, and again, none of these criteria can be applied singly. Just because one of these criteria are met doesn't mean it's fake, or vice versa. But, usually it's the expensive figures that are targeted as fake products. One Piece Portrait of Pirates is another great example. All of those sell for well over $100 in Japan. Some of them sell for $200-300, even in Japan. So, people that are selling them with their profit margins online, you're talking a lot of money for a single figure. Products like that, they're going to have fakes. So that's one way. Another way is, the description. So, I'm not being racist here, but, they'll say things like Chinese version. Chinese version means it's fake. Things like, the product in the picture may vary from the actual product, based on whatever. That's bullshit, right? Like, if you're selling a product, you should be selling the actual thing. So, kind of fishy statements like this, like it might vary, a lot from the actual thing. Again, and some people genuinely say that. I mean, we don't use those kind of statements, but, I'm suspicious, right? And fake sellers will use these kind of expressions. If it doesn't have a box, that's another sign. If a figure is new, it should have a box. If it's secondhand, that's a different story. But every new figure comes in a box. So if it doesn't have a box, again, that is a very, suspicious sign. And that's one reason that we always try and sell even collectibles from, 5+ years ago. We try and get them with the box. Use of stock photos. I'm hesitant to say this one because a lot of big sellers, including ourselves, we do use stock photos quite a lot. But we also do try and use actual photos of the pictures of the actual figure, particularly if the figure's been opened and it's secondhand. But sometimes like fake sellers, they're very careful how they use pictures. On eBay, you can use up to 12 pictures on a listing. We always try and use the full 12, to show you as best as we can what the figure looks like. If the seller's only got like one picture and it's like very clearly a stock picture, then again, that's a suspicious sign. So look, I'm not being complete in all this. I could talk for hours about fake figures, but in my opinion, usually I think the seller is actually quite honest, and they're kind of telling you this is a fake figure. And if you even have basic knowledge, which hopefully you will at the end of this video, you will be able to recognize that, and you'll be able to tell that. Another really important, and so the majority of people that buy from sellers like this, they know they're getting a fake product. And as a result, sellers like this can kind of get away with it because they're putting through very high volumes on eBay. And so the people that are complaining, their voice kind of gets drowned out. And quite often, if you look at their actual, profile, you'll notice that they have a lot of negative ratings, but in the whole scheme of things, it might only be like 1% of their total ratings. And you'll read the comments and you'll say like, this figure's rubbish, or it's clearly a fake, or, and you'll see all these people making the comments. But you actually have to kind of click on their profile and read those comments, because if you go to an eBay page, it'll just say like their score, like 99% or something. And so, it just means like 99% of the people buying from them, they know they're getting a fake, they know they're getting something cheap, and, given the price they paid, they're happy, they knew what they were getting. But then there's this very small part that think that magically they can get something for like 1/10 of the price of the real thing and still expect something that's really great quality. And those people will say something and complain, but as I said, they're the minority of the people who didn't realize that it was actually fake. And you don't want to be one of those people. Now, the other way, and sort of the final way, and this might sound cheesy, me saying this, but, the best way is to find a seller on eBay or whatever, Amazon, whatever you use, and if you've used them once and they give you the real thing, then keep using them. And, we have customers keep coming back to us because they know they get the real products. I think I said this, did I say this at the start of the video? We only sell real stuff. All our items are obtained in Japan. They're sent from Japan. We don't sell fake stuff, right? And if you have another seller that you use and you're happy with them and it's not us, that's cool. But I think that's ultimately the safest way. It's business relationships are always built on trust, and we take that very seriously here. So, okay, you've bought a figure, you don't know if it's fake, because sometimes we've had people, and we're always happy to help, they say, I've got this figure, I don't know if it's fake or not, what do you think? And we always give our honest opinion. So, the 3 figures in front, which is the fake one? If you said Deidara on the right hand side was the fake one, you would be wrong. It was in fact Itachi here in the middle. Itachi here is the fake figure. Now let's apply the knowledge that we've used, that we just got, to work out why this one is in fact fake. So firstly, I actually got this from my home country. It wasn't obtained in Japan. We don't really see any fake figures in Japan. And it cost me, I think it actually cost me $10. But yeah, I think I bought a few of the different ones, and I got the seller down to $7. To buy these, normally would cost maybe 5 times that, probably more actually. They're like $60 plus, these figures. So one way is the price. The next way is the, maybe I'll talk about the bottom. So the bottom actually doesn't have anything printed on it. There's no printing on it there. This one does. In fact, this one actually doesn't have much printed on it at all. Usually it has a lot more, but it says BP 2012 China. BP means Banpresto. And you're saying, hang on, why does that say China? Banpresto, and I know this is sad, but Banpresto manufacture their figures in China. And if you don't believe me, I actually have a box. And no, that's not it. Sorry. So you'll see here, it actually says Banpresto 2015, made in China for use as prize in Japan only. What that means is that Banpresto only release their figures in Japan. You can't get them outside of Japan, but they are physically manufactured in China. So I know that's sad. I know people want stuff that's actually manufactured in Japan, but I'm sorry, that's just the way it is. That's what Banpresto does. So that's another way. Now, if we actually, on closer inspection, look at the quality of this figure, you'll notice that the feet are pretty dodgy. Like, they're kind of at a very strange angle. And a lot of fakes actually don't even go into the base properly. So the fact that this one actually does is good. But you can see that that's actually, like, I've put it in the base as best I can. That's pretty dodgy. Whereas the real one, you can see, I haven't pushed it all the way in, but, you know, they're nice and flat feet. So that's another way. Now, if we actually look at the jackets or the coats that they have, you can see that the Banpresto one is a lot smoother. It's a lot nicer, whereas this one is a lot more rough. It's maybe a bit hard to tell in the lighting. And you'll also notice that the paint job is pretty dodgy. You have this sort of really like ugly line coming through here. It's just not as well sort of, you know, finished. Another example here is the eye, the Manga Kyo Sharingan. It sort of looks a bit more muddled, and it actually, if you notice, the right eye is actually coming out of his eye. So anything that has a lot of detail, forget it on fake figures. Same with here, you can see he has the nail polish. He also has a ring that actually has a Japanese character, a Chinese character written on it, as he does in the actual show. And same with the toenails. This fake figure, forget it. It's just too... They've used the same mold, and it does have nails, but... Sorry, we've lost focus. But just no colouring. And even he has the ring printed on here. It's going to focus again. It's gone too light. Sun's come out. Yeah, sorry, that's not coming out very clearly. But anyway, you can clearly see there's no colour. Same with his necklace. You can see in there no colour. So anything that actually... And I mean, this is a fairly... I would say it's a fairly simple figure. Like, there's not a lot of detail. You know, it's just sort of mainly one big jacket, a couple of feet, legs and things. It's a relatively simple figure. And yet, it doesn't really have... You know, but when you actually look at the finer details... Especially with, you know, Deidara here, you know, he's got his hands with the teeth and that sort of stuff. The ring again, you know, a fake figure would not have the same level of quality and detail. And you'll also notice the paint job is also a bit different. So you'll notice that the clouds on this one are actually a lot brighter. The colour is a lot brighter than the other one. Now the stand actually did a good job copying. It is actually the same design, the same height, the same dimensions. So they did that kind of okay. It's not perfectly straight, is it? But you know, generally it's pretty good. But again, you'll notice here, like the sort of join there is quite rough. You'll notice it's not very, you know, smooth. Whereas I compare it to this one, you can see it's very, you know, very sort of crisp. You can clearly see where is the white part and where is the, you know, the other part. Now, even, you got to remember, even the genuine ones, you know, they are manufactured and, you know, they might have very small, you know, lines or defects, or like, you know, this one has, this is the real one, you know, it had something, you know, some kind of mark here that didn't quite workouts. Even, you know, even the real ones sometimes are not 100%, you know, absolutely. Like, you can, if you really pull out your magnifying glass kind of thing, you can always find little things that are wrong, but, you know, you can just sort of see, if you really drill into it, you can see the difference. Now, I would actually say, like, I'm not an expert on this because I don't frequently come into contact with fake figures, but I would say this is actually a pretty good quality fake. I mean, it hasn't got pieces falling off. You know, it's actually pretty decent. You know, they did manage to get the headpiece with that detailing in. They had a pretty decent go at the eyes. I would actually say that's a pretty decently made, you know, fake. And if you got it for a really good price, then you probably wouldn't necessarily be upset. I kept this because I didn't want to sell it. I mean, I could get the real one in Japan, but I didn't want to sell it and make someone disappointed getting the fake one. So I just kept it. But yeah, so I wanted to make this video short. I'm already up to 16 minutes, but I hope that was like a very sort of quick crash course in how to know whether, you know, figures are fake or not. As I said before, I think you know, some people, they want to buy fakes, and that's totally up to you. But you know, just be aware that, you know, any real figure, it's going to go up in value. It's guaranteed, like, you know, 2, 3, 5 years time, it's going to be worth double, triple, whatever. It's not going to make you rich, but, you know, it's going to be worth more than what you paid for. And you know, fake figures are basically worthless. Actually, there was one thing I forgot to mention, which was the real figures also have a shiny sticker of the animation studio that made it. So most of the ones we have are Toei Animation, which are a gold sticker. The Naruto ones are Studio Pierrot. But again, you know, some fake manufacturers, they even go to the lengths now. I've heard cases of them actually having or using fake stickers, and there's ways that you can tell the difference between the real ones and the fake ones, which, you know, as I said, I could speak for hours. Already this video is too long, so I'm going to leave it at there. If you have any questions, you know, please feel free to leave a comment so I can answer it, and you know, other people can get the benefit of seeing that. Or if you have a figure that you're wondering whether it's fake or not, you know, feel free to message us, send photos. We can give our own opinion. We're not going to charge you for that. You know, ultimately we want to make sure that you know, you're happy with whatever you have, even if you didn't buy it from us. So I'm going to leave it at there. That was a guide between fake figures and real figures, talking about both online and actually inspecting the physical products. So thank you very much for watching, and see you in the next video.